Good day, YouTubers. You know who it is. It's Dave with Smize Flies. Um, Today's going to be a little bit of a different day. Taking a break from the normal how-to patterns, meaning that it's going to be a little bit of a fun tie today. I'm going to be doing a not so normal caddis larva pattern. Now this isn't going to have the golden pheasant center tail legs put in it or anything like that. It's just going to be the body and maybe a wrap into the segmentation. But I wanted to come on and try something a little different, just to take a break from the. I wanted to do something fun, I guess. Bring you guys a little bit of something fun, and these will work. You know, there's a lot of different colors of caddises. The normal color would be like the yellowish, tannish, almost skin color. That helps. A lot of green ones work. I've heard of red caddises as far as larva goes. So what we're doing today is I have a saluta bead on my Kona hook. It's a size 10. And I got that little tiny bead to go on pretty darn easy. Saluta beads, by the way, they make some really nice beads. They really do. I was impressed by them. Thank you for the recommendation, Brian, the flysmith. And I'm going to be using a lot of his products today. Well, not a lot, a few of them, like I always do. I got the bobbin right now. Here's the scissors. You've heard about all this before, so I'm not going to go in depth about it. I talk about them in every video, and it's got to get old. So, one of the things I'm going to want to do with this one is I have some 72 denier iron gray thread that I'm going to tie in. And I'll show you what the purpose of that's going to be here in a little bit. But that's one of the first things you want to do on this pattern. And you can choose whatever thread you want to use and whatever denier you may want to use. That's totally up to you. There's no real rules for this fly, you know. You just want to do whatever feels good for you. And I'm going to wrap back up to midway, and I'm going to pinch wrap and get that in. And then I'm going to wrap it right back down. And I'm going to pay some special attention from about this area to about that area. I'm going to lay a little bit more thread in those areas because the larvas have a little bit of a bubble type thing right there. As do a lot of the terrestrial type flies. But not really terrestrials, the larvas and such. But anyhow, I'm going to quit talking because I don't want to spread no misinformation. Because, you know, people get so technical. So I don't want to make people mad at me. I'm here to make you guys happy and give you some help at your vice, and hopefully you find the fun and in this hobby that I do. I absolutely love doing this, to the point where I probably already told you guys this once, but I'm in the middle of a 115 dozen order for the same shop that I just finished a month ago with a 200 dozen. So, and they like my work so much that they put a Smize flies, locally hand-tied flies down at their shop with a box of flies that I tied in it for people to pick up, which I thought that was really cool. You know, it's a business promoting another guy's business, which you don't see a lot of that. I was very impressed. I went into the store I'm in a wheelchair. I am missing both legs below the knee. And when I cruised around the cabinet there to go into the fly tying area, I saw that sign pop right out at me because it's neon green. And I saw my name and I was like, wait a minute, what the, you know, I couldn't believe what I was seeing. And did I ever thank him? And he's like, man, that's the least I can do. He goes, I love what you do. You tie so nice, you know, and I sold out on all the Wally wing flies that you made. And he goes, I can't stop selling the stone flies. He goes, that's why I ordered so many more the last time. He's like, although I don't need any right now because, I guess what happened before he ordered from me is he used a company called, what was it? Molly or Holly Flies. And when he went to, this was last spring. And when he went to find out what was going on with his flies, they had him blocked and a bunch of stuff. So he ended up finding a phone number and called down there and complained to the management of what was going on. And they wanted to know what was going on. And the next thing you know, just about 6 months ago, he ended up getting a big 10,000 fly order. And a lot of them were the stone flies. And he's like, you know, he was like, I like yours better, but, you know, being that I have them in stock, I'm just going to go till I sell them out. And I said, oh, okay. I said, do you think it'll take a while? He goes, to be honest with you, it'll take longer than yours did. Which, and I'm not trying to brag. That's not what this is about. This is just me being very happy that I found a place that likes my flies so much. They love my work and they treat me like I don't know, they just treat me very, very well is the best way to put it. And I couldn't be any more thankful. And believe me, I know it's all by the grace of God. I understand that. That's for certain. I have no doubts in my mind about that. But as is most things in my life, I found God. God found me not too long ago. Well, about 4 years ago. And in the instant that he found me, my whole life changed. Like the way I looked at things, honestly, the way I heard things, my attitude. I went from being down in the dumps from all the operations. And see, when I lost my legs, it caused me to be in a wheelchair. And from sitting in the wheelchair and being in bed so often, I ended up developing bed sores. And I also have a thing called necrotizing fasciitis, which means that when I do get an infection, it gets so strong in my veins that it comes through my vein, it eats through my veins, goes to my tissue, and then straight to the bone. And one thing I can tell you right now, you do not want bone infection. Take care of yourselves, guys, if you're diabetic, because this stuff I feel this is every bit as invasive as cancer. But it took me, I got out of the hospital the last time, October of 2022, and I still change bandages on the wounds every day. So, just to give you an idea how bad that surgery was. As a matter of fact, they had me on, when I was there, they had me on morphine, Oxycontin, fentanyl, and one other that I can't think of the name of, which was all pain medicine. And in the days since, or should I say in the years since at this point, it made me realize that they probably thought that I wasn't going to make it, so they were just trying to make me comfortable. But, no doctor is going to be able to, I don't know how to say it. They're not going to beat God's will. And apparently God still wants me here because I've been told 5 different times I wasn't going to make it. They called my family in, told them to come in to see me because it didn't look good. Yet I still sit here, which I feel so blessed for. Believe me when I tell you I'm not bragging. I still to this day sit down and say, what in the world? Like, God, what have I done to deserve that kind of grace from you? It just blows my mind yet to this day. Now I'm trying to find out what the world happened to that piece of black thread or that iron gray thread I tied in. So I'm going to pull this out of the vise just to see if I had to have wrapped it in and didn't even notice it happening. So I guess it's okay to tie it in another piece because I'm not to the wrapping point yet, and it's not like you're going to see it. So there it is laying right here. I don't know how that came out of there, but that's okay. We can work through and past anything. These are just the little things about fly tying that'll jump up and bite your butt sometimes. And that's okay. Don't let that discourage you. Because if you don't have patience in fly tying, not being rude, but you might as well not even bother because it takes patience. It really does, because it's going to test your patience to the core. I mean, it will test you. Now, there's other people out there that don't seem to have very many problems, but every tyer does. And any tyer you talk to is going to say, yes, I have troubles at the vise. Some days Murphy's Law comes up and bites me in my butt, And that's just a fact. But anyway, guys, off of all that and back to this here. This is going to be a little Caddis Larva pattern that I've been wanting to try for a while, but I wanted to have the right color bead to make it look right, and I did not until I placed an order with, like I said, it was Saluda, Saluda beads. Maybe in a second I can show you. Yeah, these guys. That's them. But anyhow, they I don't know, customer service was great. Shipping was pretty quick. Even during, I live in PA, and a lot of the states around me and us in the East Coast got hit with some pretty bad storms lately. As far as ice storms and during the snowstorms before that, it still shipped pretty quick, which impressed me because everywhere else was way behind. And somehow theirs managed to get here pretty quick, which I'm very thankful. So when you're wrapping this, guys, you definitely want to take the time to try to, so when you make one wrap, your next wrap should sit about halfway on to the last wrap for your segmentation. And the more even you do this, the better your fly is going to look in the end, because then it doesn't look like, okay, skinny here, fat there. The segmentation will look all jacked up if you don't do it just well. And I just about went and did that. Here I am trying to tell you guys what to do, and I'm not even doing it right myself. Nope, I'm going to unwrap that because I don't like the way it's sitting. That did not sit the way I wanted it. There it is. That's what I'm looking at. And if you notice, it's pretty fat back here and the body-wise, and it's going to get real skinny towards the front. That is the natural look of a larva. I've seen many of them in my day in my net from fishing when I used to fly fish all the time. The only reason I don't now is because I don't have the legs, and I could fish from the bank, yes. That's how I used to do it with my spinning rod. But once I picked up a fly rod, spinning rods, they went out the window, unless I'm going crappie fishing or something. And I don't want to sit on the bank and get all frustrated because I'll be saying to myself, well, I know right behind that rock or right up against that bank or in that shadow, I know there's a big one laying, and not be able to get to it. Because in fly fishing, whether you guys know it or not, most of you probably do if you've been out on the creek, presentation of your fly is at least 70% of the battle. And then matching the hatch is the rest. And knowing how to nymph fish. And if you know how to nymph fish, then you can get the presentation right. Because let's say, for instance, you're using a dry fly. If the trout sees one skate, like if it pulls across the water and it's not going exactly with the current, it's done. You're not going to catch a fish. You're not, unless it's a stocky. Stockies, they'll go right for it. But when I fished native, a couple native streams. One was Spruce Creek, and my favorite of all time was Spring Creek. And the reason why it's my favorite is because I took a long entomology class. There was about a 3-week class with a guy named John Toker. And that's a funny name. But anyway, he was a wonderful man. I met him on the stream, and it just turned out the very next week that he was going to be running a clinic on entomology. And he asked me if I wanted to join. And I said, well, what's it cost? He goes, well, for you, I'm not going to charge you anything. He goes, you're a great guy. And I was like, well, thank you so much. So, of course, I showed up for his free classes. And I can't tell you how much I learned. If you ever get a chance to take an entomology class on your favorite stream, or any stream for that matter, I would 100% recommend you do so, because there's a lot of knowledge that you can pick up off that. You learn a lot of things. Like I was taught to run my net through the leaves on trees, which I never thought about that. I was always flipping rocks. And not very often, just because I saw other people do it. I didn't know why I was doing it. I was just doing it because I saw other people doing it. And I was like, yeah, I better do that too. Yeah, to be honest. So, yeah. Did that? There it is. I knew it was around here somewhere. So when you're wrapping this, the best thing I can tell you is you're going to have a lot of patience. And you want to wrap it right in each where you wrapped. You're going to see the segmentation's already looking like it's there, but I'm trying to accentuate it. So you want to hit all those grooves on the way up. And you want to try to get right in them if you can. And sometimes that's not as easier said than done, but what I'm going to tell you is if it's done and done right, you're making a beautiful fly. But you can't help if your thread slips. You know, as you know, latex is going to be a little slipperier than it should be. You got to take your time to really look for those segmentations and wrap accordingly. Right there's another one. And if you're looking, you can see how pretty much even that is. And that's because of how much time I took laying down the latex. Oh, I hate when that happens. I'm laying down the latex. And I just told you guys you don't want to get frustrated and you want to be patient. So I'm not going to sit here and throw a fit that happened, even though part of me really wants to. But anyhow, oh no, now I'm going to have to go all the way back because everything just jumped on me. But that's all right. These are the woes of fly tying, and just like life, nobody promised you a rose garden. Nothing's going to be easy. Okay, there it is. Now we're getting back there again. I've got to hang on to this thread because I'm finding it to even be slippery. So I have to fight with the slippiness of the latex and it's slipping out of my hands. That'll be upsetting. So I'm going to get a little bit of moisture on my finger. What happened the last time is when I kind of grabbed a hold of my bobbin thread as well, which it made me drop this one and it slipped right out of my hand. So I'm going to stop with that. I'm going to pull it up and I'm going to get a wrap in real quick so it holds it still. There it is. And then I'm going to take my time And I want to build a little bit of a head up, probably at least to come up to the level of the latex there, so there's no, I don't know how to explain it, so that doesn't look like there's a little bit of a cliff there. You don't want that. You want everything to be as even as possible. And the fish aren't quite that picky, but as I've told you many a times, I'm not selling this to anyone, but if I was selling it to someone, I would want to have everything looking as perfect as I could. And you guys want to see some perfect flies, you got to get over to that flysmith.co and check out what he does. If you look at what he does and you ever see him live, you're going to want some of his flies. He's an artist, is what he is. For a guy who's been doing a little over 2 years, he's got his own business, and it's a thriving business. He's so far behind, he doesn't know which way to go, left, right, or the other way, which is a beautiful thing. I mean, I started following him like, I don't know, he was tying about 6 months when I first met him. And now it's about 2.5 years. So I'm guessing it's close to 2 years ago when I met him. And I kept telling him that, you're going to go places with this thing. And then he started selling a few bobbins. And I said, bro, your business is going to go through the roof. And he's like, I hope so, Smiley. And now it happened. Not that I'm sitting here trying to say, ha ha, I was right. That's not it at all. It's just that I have a knack for seeing, I don't know what it is. I can tell a good person from a bad person. And like, I can almost see what God's intent for people is. I know that sounds so strange to you guys. I'm just telling you the God's truth. I wouldn't sit here and lie to you. There's no reason for that. I'm not the kind that's like all boosting his ego or nothing. I don't do that. Matter of fact, I can't stand an ego in a man. A man who thinks he's better than everybody else and is all cocky. I could play, like a one-upper. Like everything's a competition. Like you could be sitting and have a conversation with this person, be like, yeah, I went out fishing the other day. Oh, you got to go fishing with me. I'll school you. And stuff like that. It's like, so what if you do school me? Like, what does that do for you? I guess it just makes them feel better than you. I don't know. I'll never understand that, and I don't want to. But we're way off subject. And there we go. So now that I got the resin on, which I use that UV craft resin, as you guys already know, it's just my favorite resin. I just love how thin it is. And it cures so beautifully. There's not much of a smell to it. It's just a very, very well done resin. Kudos to you people at UV Craft, because they have competition like Solar Res. And Solar Res is thought of by many fly tyers to be the best resin out there. And that's okay. Everybody has their favorite thing. It's a matter of preference. But if I go like that, you can look at my finger. There's no wetness. It cures so beautifully. And it really doesn't matter how much you lay down. So there we go, fellas, ladies, children, anybody who's watching. This is a caddis larva minus the golden pheasant center tail legs, because I haven't quite perfected that yet. There it is. That would be a fish catcher, especially if it was green or red. I'm sure I know this would, because I say presentation is everything, and that's true. If you present this right to the fish, they're going to come eat that. But anyhow, guys, excuse me for all the burping and stuff. Good golly. I appreciate your viewership. I hope everybody does great with their tying, and I hope that if you're new, that you're able to excel through easily and not have all the struggles. You guys have any questions or anything, don't be afraid to comment it. And get to know you if you want to. I'll give you my Facebook information. I'll do one-on-one videos with you, whatever. I'm down to help whoever I can. And also, I would love it if you guys would subscribe to me. I'm trying to get to 1,000 followers so I can do lives. I mean, you've probably heard me say this before, but I can go live now. The problem is no one can comment. I can have only 25 people in the room. And I don't mind the number being 25, but not being able to comment, that takes away half the fun from a live. I've done hundreds of lives on TikTok, and you can comment over there. And I had 2 different accounts. The first account had 10,000 followers. This new one's just about to hit 2,000, because what I did is I got a new phone, and for some reason I couldn't log back into my old account. I was heartbroken for a little bit there. I didn't let it really get to me too bad, but I can't lie, it did get to me. I was like, what the, And I begged TikTok to help me, and so far they haven't done so, but it's been 4 months, so I don't think they're gonna, so I'm just focused on building that account. But the point of all that was to let you know that I'm used to doing live videos, and I don't mind helping you guys. And if you guys could help me get to the point where I can go live over here, I'll continue to do my best, and then I'll be able to do live videos where you guys can come in and ask all the questions you want, or that I know how to answer, I will answer. Whatever I don't know, I'll send you to somebody else. I have a lot of recommendations on other people. I know a lot of the local not local, I know a lot of the fly tires that are on social media, and it'd be my honor to help you guys out if you need me. God bless you guys. Thank you so much for being here. Good day.